So Sunday, the Saints' juggernaut offense returns to the Dome. It's going to be a good time for all, and I'm going to be there having the best time of all. I'm Tim. Let's talk Saints. So we're going to start off breaking down the game with the defense. Felt I shorted them a little bit this week, and they're going to be or shorted them a little bit covering the Dallas game, but they're going to be very important this week. And while we're doing this, I'll just run a little video on the side. But one of the things in the Dallas game that surprised me was the way we flat handled their offense. Kind of let them do what they want in between the 20s for the most part, but we locked them down um, as they approached 50 and crossed. The one mistake we really made all day long on defense led to their touchdown, and we've talked about that. Definitely, the defenders involved talked about it. Said, man, we can't let that happen. But I was curious to how they did it, and I know when I was watching the game, there's a lot of too high safety, which is being a popular talk around the NFL right now, and it was almost all too high safety. Um, Now, I started just kind of breaking down the looks a little bit and what they were trying to do. It's extremely hard to do just off television coverage because a lot of times you can't see what's going on in the back end. So, for point of reference, when I'm calling something too high safety, it could have also been some type of three high look. Also, in some cases, probably was. But the point is talking about like that too high or three high safety or quarters or anything they're doing on the back end. That's pretty much the whole, hey, we're keeping everything in front. We're not letting you blow us up over the top looks that a lot of NFL defenses have gone to nowadays. And that was the point of this game, I think, on defense was don't allow any of that to happen. We're going to score touchdowns. At best, they're going to get field goals. We're going to win the game. And it's kind of the game plan, the philosophy that they went out with. Charting roughly 65 plays, 45 pass, technically 20 rushes, 19 were called. One of them was a scramble. Um, I had 5 plays that I kind of put in or schemes that I put in the other category, which was um, one was an even front. That was the reverse to Cook's second drive, I believe, when Taylor smashed him in the backfield for a 3-yard loss. Couldn't really see what was going on the back end, but I know they had lined up in an even front. Um, there was one definite 3 high safety that we used. It actually blitzed out of it with Taylor and Davis, and obviously running man behind it. And another 3 high safety where we used 3 safeties. It was a little later in the game. I think it was kind of when things were winding down, and we were just like, look, not quite prevent, but just going, we're not getting crazy. Um, and it looked like they were actually possibly even using 3 safeties to play double high because it looks like one kind of crept up a little bit in coverage. But for the most part, 52% of the plays was 2 high safety, possibly 3. 35% was a single high. Once we showed single, went to double. Twice we were double and went to single, and I think we blitzed both times off of that. And then the others. So 52%, 35, 2%, 3%, and then 8% is kind of in the undefined category. Margin of error in there because, like I said, I can't always see what's going on in the back end, so it's a little bit sometimes educated guesswork. So this into the T, but I think it gives you a pretty good idea of what our philosophy was in that game. And the thing that I really um, found interesting was it's basic. Our base defense is basically a 4-2-5 because we're going to play with 2 linebackers mostly and Alontae Taylor in the slot corner role. And we saw that on 52 of the plays. We had 7 plays where we're using 3 linebackers, and most of those times, I think if not all of them, it was an odd man front. So we actually pulled the defensive lineman off to do that. And a couple of those were in situations where Willie Gay was actually walking up and playing the defensive end. So it was really an even man front because it was more like he was the edge player with, I think, Cam Jordan both times kind of getting squeezed inside. And then we had those about 6 looks with 3 safeties back there, and a couple of those were actually truly kind of prevent defense at the end of the first half. Um, Too high safety. We were even front on 31 of the 34 plays. And of the 3 that we weren't, 2 of them were because we had 3 linebackers on the field. The single high was a little more balanced. We were even fronts that basically 4-2-5 look 16 times, odd man front 7. We were even in the one where we showed single, went to double. We were even both times we were double and went to single. And we were always even front on those 5 plays that I can't quite put into any specific category of the other categories. So you're basically looking at 55 plays. You were 4-2-5. 10 plays, you were almost all of them in some type of odd front with just 3 defensive linemen. Although sometimes it kind of maybe could have been an even because of the fact that Gabe was sneaking up a couple times. It's a little gray area there about what you really want to call that. But we had a couple, some with only 2 linebackers with 6 defensive backs, and then we did have some quarter packages with Davis was the only linebacker on the field with 3 linemen. Yeah, 3D linemen and our defensive backs in, and we did that kind of late in the game also. But the interesting thing in all this is this too high look that NFL defenses are running now. Like I said, is look preventing to get beat up over the top, and it almost invites you to run on them because you're going to have light boxes when you do it. It's you can't play too high or 3 high if you're going to move to that with one of the corners dropping back and shove 8 men in the box. I guess you could, but you're going to have a hell of a lot of space between those 8 box defenders and those 3 guys stuck back there, likely holding on for dear life. So for the most part, you would expect teams to run. Interesting thing about in the Dallas game, first quarter they had 10 called running plays. Second quarter 5, third quarter 4, none in the fourth because we had pretty much iced the game down, and the game flow dictated that they couldn't run the ball anymore. Now, we were never really truly worried about. I'm going somewhere with this. We were never truly worried about the Dallas running game with their running backs. Like, there's nobody back there. Even with Zeke, there's nobody back there that's going to truly scare us for 4 quarters of what they can do. And they had what I like to call a mobile, but not a running quarterback because that can move around in the pocket. We saw him do that on some scrambles where he's trying to get the ball downfield. And then the one run where he had to tuck it, or the one where he had to tuck it and run and had a pretty nice gain out of it. A little different animal this week with Hurts and Barkley coming in on Philly. Now, as I'm doing this, final injury report isn't out, but by all indications, A.J. Brown isn't going to play. So you're taking one of their elite receivers off the field. But Philly can run the ball, and they do it with Hurts, especially in the Monday night game against Atlanta. They're doing it with Hurts as a true running quarterback. This isn't the mobile move around the pocket quarterback that when the opportunity arises and he has something, he's going to scramble out for extra yards. They'll design runs with both of them. They're both Hurts is a very good runner, and I was about to call Barkley an effective runner. No, when he's banged up, he's effective. When he's healthy, like he appears to be right now, he's one of the tops in the NFL, and he can hurt you a little bit in the receiving game. Their last offensive play Monday night, notwithstanding. So you've got your handful there. This is the first time we're going to roll into a game where there's a running back we have to be concerned about and know where he's at and what he's doing at all times. And a quarterback, and these quarterback runs over the last, I want to say a couple of years, but hell, probably decade back, has been a severe problem for the Saints. Jalen Hurts, when we've played him in the past, has been a severe problem for us. When you're looking at their rushing attack right now for the year, it's 2 games, so there's no really point in breaking it up. But Barkley's 46 for 204, so he's averaging roughly 4.4 carry with 2 touchdowns. Hurts is 26 for 118 with a touch. He's about 4.5, so they're right about in that same average yard per play. That's some stuff where if you're going to go like we went against Dallas, and I assume I haven't broken it down, Carolina game probably did much of the same thing with those lighter boxes. If they want to, they can take advantage of it. They did against Atlanta finally because those two guys pretty much for the longest time was the offense for Philly in stretches where they could just run the ball. I think Philly kind of got themselves in trouble a lot of times wanting to throw the ball when they didn't need to. See the last offensive play of the game when they tried to throw it to Barkley instead of handing it to him on third and third in the red zone with the Dirty Birds not having any timeouts left. I really wish he'd have caught that ball, A, because Philly probably would have beaten the Dirty Birds for us, which would have been nice. But B, most of the time when I was watching that game, I'm thinking, boy, I hope y'all give up on trying not to run the ball down our throats and want to put the ball up in the air, especially if A.J. Brown isn't going to be on the field. I'm liking that scenario. Well, that painful last second loss that never should have happened Monday night may have woke him up a little bit about to the realities of how you should play modern NFL football right now. We'll see. On the receiving end, I mean, Smith is a stud. He's a 14 for 160 guy. He has a tutty. Brown for 5 for 119. That was all in the first game against Green Bay because he didn't play Monday night. And like I said, it's looking like he won't play. Dallas Goedert's an old warhorse at tight end, 7 for 69. Calcaterra is a backup tight end. He hits the board 3 for 30. So combined, that's about 10 for 79 in 2 games from their 2 tight ends. It's not earth-shattering numbers, but we can be vulnerable to tight end. And Schoonmaker, whatever the backup is for Ferguson for Dallas last week, he didn't gash us or hurt us real bad, but he was an effective chain mover at times in that game and made some catches. So I think you can definitely see Goddard. Now, I don't know this Calcaterra guy very well. Just saw him in that game Monday night make some catches. Apparently, they are at least going to bring that to the table and can be some chain movers. And we don't want that because we don't want them converting on third, and we don't want them time of possession methodically moving down the field. It's just something they can do when they do throw the ball and use their tight ends. A couple other guys. Covey is 6-23, Dotson 1 for 6. Campbell and Wilson have nothing. Wilson's a rookie, and that has also been hurt, and I don't know if he's going to play. And then out the backfield, their backup running back has 1 for 10. Barkley 6 for 44 and a touch, and one really costly drop Monday night. Hurts is a 43 for 64 guy. You know, he's nothing overly dangerous in the passing game, but he can make some dangerous throws. And I say that tongue in cheek, but also in all seriousness, because Jalen Hurts is a quarterback with the most turnovers the last couple of years in the NFL. And he's thrown 3 touchdowns. He's thrown 3 interceptions. He's run for 1 touchdown. He's lost a fumble on a run. That's what you're kind of getting for Hurts. And one of his interceptions Monday night was a costly one. They got the ball back with a chance to go down and try to win the game. And it was a very bad throw. It was a very bad read. I believe Jesse Bates grabbed it, read it the whole way, ran over. If you saw the play, you're like, man, what did you see and where were you throwing it? So you had a guy you actually could have maybe slid the ball into. So would I look at what our problem is if we can stop the Hurts Barkley running on us? And I think you want Hurts back in the pocket trying to throw the ball down the field on you, especially if A.J. Brown isn't on the field. And I think if we can get him into that, because the last 2 weeks, without that running game to really scare us or pressure us, we made Carolina, Dallas one-dimensional, wanting to throw the ball against the defense we were designing that take check downs all you want. It don't matter. We'll hold you field goals. We're fine. And Carolina couldn't even get that done, to be honest with you. They barely got anything going. Philly, likely maybe to do the same thing in their offense. But if they dedicate themselves to running the ball, I think that could be the real issue for us. Like I said, we haven't been tested there yet, truly. And this is going to play into the offense, which we're about to go over next. But one thing you don't want is any type of situation, and this is why I think Philly's got to be really smart and use their 2 top weapons on offense as runners. You don't want to keep giving the ball back to us and let us hold on the ball the way we're playing right now. We'll talk about that in a second when we get to our offense versus their defense. Look, I have everyone covering anything remotely to do with the NFL has went over this juggernaut type Saints offense after 2 weeks. What they're doing, not only like point wise and amassing yardage wise, but just the efficiency and the overall, but just not many bad plays, not many bad decisions, not many mistakes really. Few here and there, but they haven't come back to haunt us at all. So I mean, it's a juggernaut offense right now going up against a defense that I can't figure out, to be honest with you, because you want to run through. I went to Fox Sports is where I found this, but the numbers on the Philly defense, total defense, they're number 30 in the league. They're giving up on average 399.5 yards in 2 games, 5 touchdowns, and that feels like something we can exploit when you look at what our offense has done the last 2 weeks. Passing defense, number 27. They're giving up 242 yards. 5 of their 4 touchdowns came through the air. Rushing, they improve a little bit. They're number 25, but still giving up 157 and a half a game. We averaging 185 a game in two. A full 30 yards, a full 3 first downs more than what they're giving up. And the 1 touchdown. Yeah, Alvin got that crushed. And even Jamal Williams and Derek Carr, for that matter, both have rushing touchdowns. So it interesting that they're giving up a lot of yards and a fair amount of points, a fair amount of touchdowns. When looking overall, and then breaking down the passing and rushing. So scoring, obviously, they're number 27, 25 and a half points per game. Red zone, here's where it gets interesting. They're tied for fifth at a 28.6% rate. Third down, tied for third, 25% third down rate. So what this is telling me is this team they're going to give up yards. They're likely to going to give up big plays. In doing so, some of those are probably fine in the end zone. Because when you look at their red zone efficiency and their third down efficiency being as good as it is, you get down there, they're probably doing what we did to Dallas, holding you to field goals. And on third down, seems like if they can get you in the third down, they can get themselves off the field. So which our philosophy is we want to beat defenses on first and second down and ultimately not even have to hopefully go to third down. But if we do, it's going to be so manageable. It's not really a thing. So I know this much is kind of looking through their defense players, although I'm a little familiar with them. They're probably the two best players on the defensive line are much like when we play Carolina or on the interior. Carter and Davis. Josh Sweat's pretty good edge rusher. I believe Barnett's still floating around there, but in the past few years, they had guys like Hassan Reddick and stuff like that, and they don't seem to really have anybody, or even as we played last week in the Micah Parsons level, much less the DeMarcus Lawrence level. So I feel like we're okay on the edge, but with those two kind of really good defensive tackles in the middle, they're able to bottle up our run game a little bit, get us more to pass pro. Their edge players, we really haven't seen that, especially since we've played ahead both games so far. It's kind of question mark is if push comes to shove, we struggle to run the ball, and then they're able to keep it tight or even take a lead where we're having to throw more and we're having to do it more, not off our running game like we do now, but more pass protection where those tackles are going to be lined up on edge players and our interior is going to have to deal with the two big D tackles. How's that situation going to play out? Because we really haven't been tested there yet. And we talked about it last time with Philly's ability to run the ball, especially from the quarterback position. They could be a possibility. So keep our eye on that. We don't want that to happen in any way stretch, but if it does, that could be one factor in the game that's going to affect our offense. Linebackers, it's Nakobe Dean and sure a guy y'all have heard of before, Zach Ball, and they have both played extremely well. Vaughn went off in their first game against Green Bay with a lot of tackles and 2 sacks. Looking again at their ends, going and Vic Fangio led defense probably went to get that third down efficiency. It's probably they're blitzing and they're using other players who are pretty good to be able to get there. Um, their DBs, their safeties. Oh, another familiar face is there, but their safeties, Blankenship and CD Deuce, both pretty good. CD Deuce is having a foot problems right now. Don't know yet if he's going to play. Their corners, they're kind of their top three guys is the rookie Mitchell. He's played well. Darius Slay, who he's getting up there a little long in the tooth. I think he's a guy. And Maddox, their other corner. You probably put them in the category some veteran guys. They can make some plays, but you can get them also. So again, dangerous. It's a little like Hurts throwing the ball. It can be dangerous for them or dangerous for us either way when you're kind of tooling around with guys like that. So I don't know what that was all about. So they've got some players back there. That's what I'm saying. I can't figure out this whole defense. What's going on with them? Atlanta just absolutely crushed them in the running game with Bijan Robinson and Tyler Algier. And I'm looking at our running games, and we should be able to do that. So I think our offense is the juggernaut is going to keep moving. I think there's just a couple little danger spots in there. And I think what we want to do is we have to stay third and efficient. And when we get to the red zone, we don't want to become what we made Dallas last week, which is moving the ball, but settling for field goals because their total yardage numbers and their scoring defense. But then when you're looking at how good they are in the red zone, going, yeah, if we get down there, we've got to convert that into touchdowns. So injury reports out. It's basically, and kind of saw this on Twitter before the official one came out. Pretty much everybody was back to practice today for the Saints, except for Landon Young, who has not practiced all week. Pretty sure he won't be available Sunday. Some guys listed as questionable. Press conference today, they asked DA straight up about Taysom Hill feeling better. DA said at the time, even though the official report wasn't out, we're going to list him as questionable. If he can go Sunday, he's going to go. Feel pretty confident Taysom's going to go, but we'll see. Will Harris is very important. He pulled up with a little issue, missed yesterday. Limited to today. He's one I'm kind of worried about. He's played extremely well next to Honey Badger, and he's really good against the run and tackling. So I really would like to see him on the field Sunday. Brown is not playing for Philly like most people thought. They made it official. He's out. Johnny Wilson will play, or he'll be available. I don't know if he'll play. And then CD Deuce. So they're relatively healthy team. Only 3 guys on it. CD Deuce also saw on Twitter they were trying to ask him in Philly if he was going to play or what's wrong with the foot or something like that. But his only response to the media was, "I'll see you on Sunday." So I don't think CD Deuce is going to miss this game unless he's really injured. So we'll see. But I'm kind of happy to see the injury report because I really think Taysom's going to be a big part of what I'm waiting for them to unleash Taysom. I think Julius Rickles dropped that in the comments a couple of days ago. I feel like this may be the game where you might have to do it because we really hadn't needed him in the first 2. The offense is going to run through Alvin. It's going to be run by Derek Carr. So Carr making the right decisions and making on time and on target throws. Kamara being effective in the running game the way he has been is just a long way to getting everybody else their plays, I guess to say, or to be utilized. But I think Taysom's right in the mix. I think if we'd have struggled in any of the first 2 weeks at any point, you would have seen a lot more from him. In fact, early in the game, it seems to be when he gets most of his touches. And as the game just kind of stretches out, it's almost like, let's just put that in our back pocket because we don't really need it. This could be a game where we need it just based on if Philly can run it, get some time of possession, keep our offense off the field type thing. And also the ability that we need to stay out of third down and be effective in the red zone, and Taysom can help a lot in both those. Um, so yes, everybody wanting to know what the prediction is. I think the keys to victory, the things that we control and the things that we've been doing the last 2 weeks. 'Cause I think if we keep doing them right now, we're still at a part of the schedule where yes, you have some good teams, but can they put it all together to be able to beat you off of what you've been able to do? Which, quite frankly, first 2 weeks, run the ball and stop the run. So you come out hot, you run the ball, you stop the run, and the whole time, I think this is the biggest thing that helps us out, and why this is looked in so sensational. I mentioned this earlier in the week in the video. It's just the elite decisions all the way through. We're not doing stupid stuff to shoot ourselves in the foot. Knock on wood. We can avoid that. And as Da has said, and I know Kubiak said this, and in fact, I think all the coaches at some point have used a version of, if we control the things that we can control and do them well, we're going to put ourselves in a position to win. And it's effectively what we've done 2 weeks in a row. Now, as far as the X's and O's part of it, that's part of controlling what you can control and doing it well and getting a good outcome, expecting a good outcome of it. Um, Last few years, we weren't doing that and trying to expect a good outcome. Just wasn't going to happen. But this team so far seems ready to go, okay, we can handle that stuff. We'll be okay. They are holding each other accountable. We've seen plenty of examples of that through training camp and through the first 2 games. So I like where we're at. I like having this game at home. I think we can run the ball on them. I think that's going to be very, very important. And I think you just have to stay out of that third down areas where they can use to get themselves off the field in efficiency, because you don't want time of possession again, which they could do through their running attack, to just not get our offense on the field. We saw too much of that last year. So the problems of last year and the year before, the running quarterback, probably the tight ends to hurt you a little bit. Um, Stupid mistakes, starting out slow, letting the other team get the jump on you, not being able to catch back up. We've erased all that in 2 weeks. Let's make it 3 weeks. We make it 3 weeks, we're going to win this game. I'm calling 37-21. I think the only reason why we don't break 40 is that could be a little bit of the red zone problem coming in, where they are so efficient. However, they're doing it with Vic Fangio. So we may have to settle for some field goals in there. So I'm gonna say Groupie's probably gonna have to bang a couple, and 37-21. But hey, it's a 2-score win. We'll take it all day to the house. I'll take it because I'm gonna be in there, and I want to be in a good mood when I leave there. So winning this game will go well. Pretty much the only way that I'll leave there with a good mood is with a win. So I think they're gonna do it. Um, yep, y'all go ahead. Y'all been dropping some predictions, and let me have it, because I've been horribly wrong the first 2 weeks. So yeah, however it's gonna work out, y'all do y'all best to me. But go ahead and give me a thumbs up too for this one. First time here, like, share, subscribe. Let's keep getting the word out. I haven't posted it yet. I told you I was going to do it the other day. The For the live show Sunday night, but we will be on live same time, which is 9:30 Central. Jason and I should both be here. Hopefully, celebrating a big win on the Dome on Sunday. So until I see you Sunday night with a big gigantic smile on my face, I'm Tim. Peace out. Who dat?